Well, ladies and gents, welcome to Friday morning. So I'm just having a walk around the boys' winter field. I just wanted to see how the spraying had gone on. And I did on the quad bike with a little knapsack, well, backpack sprayer slash quad sprayer. Yeah, it seems to have got quite a few weeds in bottom. You can see here it's actually started trying to lay over now. It's getting that long. All the flower heads are up. And if you look across the rest of the field, it's pretty much doing the same now. So it'll only be a week or so before it actually starts setting seed, which really means it wants off. If it'll happen or not, I don't know. The longer we leave it, the bit more denser it gets in the bottom, which isn't a bad thing. But yeah, it's kind of ready. It does actually look like there's a bit down there where the water was sat this winter. It's not quite as far on as up here. It's not massively long. I mean, it's a good foot long anyway, but 14 inches. But yeah, getting there. Well, ladies and gents, welcome to Monday morning. And we seem to have gone back into late spring again. Bit overcast and cold. I've actually put my hoodie back on again and my zippy bottom trousers back on. It's a bit cold, so. Right, so it's out of the shed. Basically put a chain on and, well, dragged it out. This thing never sits very nicely. It's a bit of a horrid mower until it's on the tractor. Everything else around it's a bit of a pain in the ass. So yeah, just put linkage onto it. One of the things you do find with this one is she tends to try and roll back when you put linkage arms up. So you end up putting one side on, getting that on, and then having that one near enough where it should be. And by the time those two work together, that third one clicks in. If you know what I mean. If anybody follows Josh at JM Farming, it's a bit like his Vicon mower where everything is just a little bit off. So yeah, I thought I jet washed this last year, but apparently I didn't. So she's a bit dirty underneath. I'll show you underneath. Other thing is, this is actually, well, it's called a Sipma mower. But I do believe this is actually a Samaz mower, like Farmer Phil had the other week. Or they've just bought, should I say. Last year they had one on demo. I believe it's the same company, just changed the names. So yeah, standard disc mower. Not bad, to be honest. I can't remember, I think it's a Coma bed on it. So it's a standard bed, which is nice. So any of the parts are easy to get by. Blades are easy to get by. And yeah, she's done 7 years, I think, 6 years in mowing for us. Don't know how well you'll see that, but it looks like Lad Across River's got his mower on. He's mowed the grass the other day down the riverside. Here's a little TS he's got. Sounds well. Well, ladies and gents, welcome to Wednesday morning. I had Monday off, I still can't work out what day it is. So I'm just into the girls' winter field, and as you might be able to tell, I did a couple of passes with Mower yesterday. In fact, I mowed quite a bit of a chunk of that far end. Just wanted to see how much grass is actually on it. And as you can see on this side, not very much. So I have actually mowed it really high, as in that is a good 2 inches of grass left, maybe even touching 2.5 inches. And the only really bit I got off it on a 9-foot swath was all that. By the time that I dry out for hay, there'd be not left. So I'm pretty much just looking to see what I can do with this field, because at the moment she's pretty much just sat doing nothing. We have had a little bit of moisture last night, and that's the first time for about 3 weeks. Possibly I was trying to work it out yesterday. It's definitely been 2. I think it's more like 3. So anyway, but yeah, we're just working out what to do with this one and the boys' field, because the boys is as bad. So looking in the bottom, there is still, oh, my shoulder, I've hurt my shoulder. There is still bits of muck in there. There was actually more of it further behind me when I've been walking up, which isn't great, because the options we've got for this is, one, just leave it completely and do nothing. Two, top it all the way through the summer and have it ready for winter. Three would be top it and try and take a cut in autumn. And four would be take a cut now and try and gather all this up and then round bale it, haylage it. But I don't know, they've all got the merits and the bad points. So topping it's going to cost a type of money, especially when we're having to run white diesel now. And I'll take that out. Don't want that. We're having to run white diesel because we're not agricultural. I know, don't ask. So not just the time now that's costing us, it's also the diesel that's costing us. So topping it, we're going to have to do it 3 or 4 times through the year. With flow mower it takes a while. I could just leave it, but there's no guarantee it's going to do anything but seed. And then we end up with a bit of a mess at the end of the year because there'll be too much grass for the horses when they come back in. Cut it now and take it, well, yep, wouldn't be a bad idea, but we're not really set up for round bales, and especially wet bales, so there's no grabbing facilities on any of them. Well, there is, but we need to buy a grab. We've also still got the problem of there is bits of muck in here that haven't broken down because we've been so dry, and if we wrap it, it would get caught up in that. So yeah, we're a bit of a catch-22 because middle of the field and there's nothing on it, so yeah, it's definitely an interesting one. Just let me know what you think below, because I'd be interested, and I have asked a couple of people already. Everybody's kind of ended up going, I don't know. So I've done a fair bit of topping this morning and a bit yesterday. So there's all of that there, all topped off. But we have a slight technical problem. I think I've just blown that gearbox up there. It stops working now, but yeah, we've just stalled the tractor with it a couple of times. So better go up to the barn and find out what the hell's going on. Well, I'll put the fire out wherever it was. So I've had a quick dig down there and that's all red hot. Shaft won't turn, bed won't turn. So something between here and the bed, or the bed itself, is seized. That is very warm, so I'm guessing that's probably run out of oil and seized. Yeah, this could be an expensive mistake. Right, so the gearbox is out now, and I've definitely dropped a bollock. I know you always see that black, but presume that's where the fire was. I'm guessing bearing's gone in there, and she is actually still pretty warm. Warm enough to touch, but you'd be happy in a bath. So I'll strip these out and see what's in bottom. Right, we're getting somewhere. So back plate's off. It's literally just a push fit onto the bearing that's there. Try and set this up a bit and see. So yeah, this bearing, no problems, fine. But if you look in there, I should focus, but that's actually gone. So I can hardly turn that. So got to work out is, one, if it's worth stripping this apart to fix it, or if we replace it, and two, how we get all this apart, because that shaft's got to come out first before I can do something with that one. I'm not quite sure. I've got a puller so that I can pull that one off, but I don't know how to get the crown wheel off. So yeah, what a great day. Morning ladies and gents, welcome to Friday morning, and it's a bit breezy this morning, so I'm back in the field that was a bit ragworthy field. Just having a look out spraying, got on again, and Well, I can't see any ragwort so far, and any weeds that are in here seem to be curling over, so it's a good sign. Just see there. We've got buttercup anyway, that was there. I'm slightly worried because the grass was quite long as well, that the spray won't get into it very well, as I only did a single pass on it. But looks like he's doing alright to me. So yeah, looking good. This field's definitely benefited from putting that muck on it this year, beginning of this year as well. So the saga of the gearbox, and it has been a bit of a saga. So obviously blew this up, we destroyed the bearing in here, took it down to contractor who had a load of bearings in for it and just the seals. So that was one afternoon, well, the day I blew it up. That afternoon went down there, did that, got it stripped out. Yesterday went down to put it back together again, and where there's a bearing there and a bearing there and a circlip that runs across to hold the bearing from moving that way. I'm trying to remember which way it was. Move the bearing back into that housing. It can't go that way because it's hitting against the big gear wheel. So tried to put the circlip in, built it back up, and then actually just gave it some movement, and the circlip fell out. So Chris down there spent half an hour trying to grind into the groove to make it a decent groove. Clip got better sitting there but wouldn't sit, so basically that was the end of the casing. But luckily for us, somebody else had a topper with the same box, so this is actually not our box, as you can tell probably by the colour. But this actually had two shafts coming out. This is our first topper, I think. Another shaft was there, but that had destroyed itself, and they decided to put a new box on it. So robbed the box off that and put it all back together. Now there is a bit of slap in there, but I don't think it's too bad. Well, we didn't think it was too bad. Everything else fit on quite nicely, to be fair, but there are differences. So on ours, the original one, there was a level plug here and a drain plug down here. This one's got level plugs on the sides. That was actually the bottom of it originally. That was the top, and then, sorry, no, that was a level plug. That was a drain plug, and that was a fill plug. So I mean, it's basically the same box, just different places to put holes in them. So anyway, brought this back last night and found that these bolt ends catch putting it back in the topper. So I've got to I'm going to super glue one, I'm going to Loctite this one in on this side, because that's the one that we'll never get to. That side will stay as it is, but I'll have to take it out while I put it back into the frame of the mower. And then we have to drill a hole through the side of the steelwork on the mower. Not the end of the world, but another job to do. So yeah, getting there, it's just been a pain in the ass. Why didn't we buy a new one? Well, at the beginning it should have only been half-day job and a few bearings. We changed all the bearings and all the seals while we were in there. But when we found out that lip had gone, the circlip, we found out that the circlip wasn't fitting properly. It was just easier to then, while we were there with all the parts, just build this one. So hindsight's 2020, and you'd have just probably stuck another box in it. But anyway, here we are with them. So another couple of hours messing around, and hopefully it should be done. Well, ladies and gents, welcome to Saturday morning. And as you can see, I'm in the hayfield, and we've got some stripes. So somebody yesterday afternoon had a stupid idea of, well, doing this. Yes, that was me. so yeah, hay 2023 has started. Unfortunately, I still haven't managed to fix the big mower. I'm having some right problems with the gearbox. In the meantime, we'll have a look at this. So it has started drying last night. You can just see different colours. In fact, if I turn that bit over, might be able to tell the difference in colour. And that is surprisingly damp underneath. We weren't having any dews for the last couple of days. It just wasn't wet. You can see my boots now aren't wet. And now it decides to have one, so never mind. So this was mowed with the drum mower, the 5'6" drum mower. It took me 2 hours to do 4 acres. Yeah, you could, well, I was doing 10k's as it was. I could have gone a little bit quicker, but this field's so rough, you just get launched about. So I didn't do that. So I plan today, maybe late afternoon, is I'll get the hay bob on. The joy with it being on a small mower is I can pull the hay bob out and put those 2 rows into one down the middle, which gives the ground time to dry. Which is what I'm doing for the moment as well. I'm not doing any more. Right, so it's nigh on 1 o'clock now anyway. Don't know if you'll hear, but it's actually the lad across the river's mowing again. That sounds of it. I dropped these bits in between, left one patch and left pretty much around the edges. I've got a slight feeling we might end up turning them back out into this just for a couple of weeks so they can get some grazing. So this is the hay bob. I think it's a 300. I have done a video on doing the time change before, which seems to be quite popular at the moment. Funny enough, all the hay ones seem to be quite popular at the moment. So what I need to do at the moment, what I need to do now is change these tines around. These are still set from last year when I was rowing up. So there are 2 holes. I'll show you that one. There's 2 holes. Pin goes into that one for rowing up and pin goes into that one for turning out. So kind of a saying, in is out is out. So if the pin's in, it's rowing up into a row. If it's out, it's throwing it out of the row. So yeah, just a case of pulling back on the spring, doing a quick turn, and then dropping it back in that hole. And then the gates, I'm going to have them wide open, so I usually have them about there, which will bring them right out here, which means the grass will get thrown all over the place, which is great. There is one tine that's got a broken spring on it, which is that side, which is where it always stops. So I'll end up snapping that one off at some point. So yeah, and transport pin. They've all got a transport pin up here, which I didn't know when I first bought it. Yeah, so drop it down, take it off, and then it pulls it actually across this way. So that rotor, that basket, is actually almost on the outside, fully outside of the wheel. Don't forget this is built for like 1970s little tractors, little 30, 40, 50 horsepower tractors. Not 115. So right, I get these pulled out and done. Right, before I put this back together, my screen is like greasy and I can't get it off because my hands are greasy. Finally got the gearbox back in. Found there was a plate here to take off to get that UJ back onto the shaft. So I got the box back in, bolted up. I've had to change the spacers because I say that box is a different box and it's just a few millimetres wider by the looks of it. So I had to put washers in between the bodywork and the gearbox, and I'm just about to put these back on again. And these are just 4 bolts either side and then 3 bolts around the top that holds his collar on. It does fill with crap in there, so it might have to be something else that service I'll look at servicing. But anyway, she's back in. I'm on the 4 rotor, 4 star tedder, whatever you want to call it. I'm gonna have to apologise for this because it's a heap of junk and I've welded it up and broke it that many times. It's not good. Right, she's done for this turn. You can see it's a really nice, fair level carpet. It is a bit thicker on this side, but such is life. Definitely pulled up some nice green, lime green bits, which is good news. I wanted them up and drying. But sunshine was supposed to be out by now, 12 o'clock, and it's not. So. And that pile of crap is still working. Yay! For the moment. We'll see how it happens. Right, pack up, go home, enjoy me Sunday afternoon. Catch you later. Bye.